So for general construction, we received two bids. They were $1,000 apart from each other on 19.4 million. That's 0.005% difference between them. That is staggering. More staggering, I got a phone call from one of those two bidders saying that they made a last-minute adjustment to their bid 5 minutes before, that had they not, it would have been tied, their base bids. That's incredible. So the low bidder for the base bid is ECI Construction at $19,417,000. So then Lowbar Incorporated is 1,000 above that. You could see the alternates on the chart there would have an impact on the apparent low bidder. So the unclassified construction, which kind of puts the responsibility on the contractor for all unsuitable soils down to design subgrade. We've talked about that to some degree. Should you elect to take that, Lowbar would then be your apparent low bidder. There is also an alternate for wireless lockdown hardware. We'll talk about that. And then we had a couple deduct alternates in there as well. In the event that we needed to find a way to get it awardable project, we could do that with a few of those deduct alternates. Turns out we're not going to have to. So moving on to, that's all right. HVAC construction, there were 8 bidders. Very, very good coverage on that and pretty competitive. The difference between the two low bids was $185,000 and a 9.4% difference. There were no alternate bids. So the base bids that you see here are what will determine the apparent low bidder. In this case, it's Tri-County Mechanical at a bid of $3,244,000. For plumbing construction, again, we had 6 bidders. The apparent low bidder is SM Friday Mechanical Contracting at a bid of $1,691,470. There was an unclassified construction alternate bid as well, to which their alternate price is $5,000. Again, we had, as part of the deducts, they were involved in the elimination of the acoustical canopies, but again, because the very good situation we're in, we're not going to have to recommend doing any deducts. So there was $104,530 between the two low bids, 6.2% difference, and here the alternate bids have no bearing on the apparent low bidder. Lastly, electrical construction, we had 5 bidders, again, very good coverage. $6,472 between the two low bids. That's a 0.2% difference. The base bid, apparent low bidder, was Hernisen Electric at $3,292,000. Second to them is McCarty & Son, who is your electrical contractor at the Southern Middle School project at $3,298,472. You will see the couple of alternate bids here. Unclassified construction has negligible impact on it, but then the other one is the wireless door lockdown hardware. So what that alternate bid is, there were 2 components for it. One was for the GC side and the other was for the electrical side. The GC side would have included hardware like every classroom door that allows them to be instantaneously locked down. There is a matter of, if you undergo that program at one school, you would want to do that pretty immediately at all your schools. So the other component of that is the electrical part. So the electrical has to feed basically hotspots throughout the building that wirelessly talk to all of those hardware components that the GC would have provided. What we are going to recommend to you is to put in the electrical portion of that. So the infrastructure is there so that when you are prepared as a district to undergo a district-wide upgrade to all of your doors, this building will be ready to go for it, and all you'll have to do is upgrade the hardware at the doors. So that is our recommendation to you, to do the electrical component of that at this time, and then when you're ready as a school district to undergo a district-wide improvement, to do that at this school as well. So that electrical component will impact the apparent low bidder for electrical to be McCarty & Son. So here you can see the summary of all of those bids, including the alternates that we are recommending to you. We're recommending to you to take the unclassified construction alternate bid for GC, PC, and EC. There is no mechanical component to that. They don't really do any site work. And then we're recommending to you to do the electrical component of the wireless lockdown alternate bid. So that puts you at a grand total of $27,885,364. Total building area was 78,387 square feet, so that puts your building cost at $287 a square foot. And we know that because of the forms that we have received from the apparent low bidders, the GO8 forms, which tell us how much of their bid goes to the site work and other things, and how much goes to the building structure. And you'll remember we've had a lot of conversations about the maximum building construction cost as part of the Plan Con and Act 34 process. We need those GO8 forms from the apparent low bidders so that you have them on record to show that you do not exceed that maximum building construction cost. In this case, your total structure cost comes in at $22,494,483, which is well under the $28,105,264 maximum building construction cost. So we're in very good shape as far as that goes. So how does this compare to what we had budgeted for you? So if you look at the budget that we presented to you in April, I'm showing you the kind of more conservative with a little bit of a tariff impact budget. You can see in the red box there the $27,885,364 mark. That's your bid. And then you can see all of the construction-related soft costs. We've updated them just like we did for Southern to include actual costs for commissioning, testing and inspection, the web-based construction administration platform. So we have a lot of known costs now. We are still holding a placeholder for construction manager should you elect to do that, but you might not for this project. I don't know where you will land as a district on that question. Then there are a couple allowances in there too for playground equipment. So when you add all of that together, along with the design fees, you're sitting at a grand total of $33,527,944, which on the extreme side is a savings of $6,420,000 and change from the high end of what we were budgeting for. So you're in really strong shape. So, should you elect to proceed tonight, what will happen next? Similar to at Southern Middle School, we'll be issuing letters of intent to award to the apparent low bidders. That will go out tomorrow, and they will go start pulling together all their paperwork for the contracts. We'll be reviewing them and facilitating that, and we'll be getting it to Mr. Moravich and his team to review them as well. We'll be working on obtaining our final permits, and we should be set to go on July 28th for shovels in the ground. And you'll have a new building in 2 years, less than. Questions?
It's great news. So, Sean, you mentioned it's a $6 million savings, but the original budget or forecast we're about in line with the original correct?
We're about right there
Yeah.
with where we originally started. So, we were very cautious with our budgeting. We didn't know how things were going to land with tariff impacts and just general market. So we wanted to have you prepared in the event that they came in higher. But we had a very good day on bid day, so very pleased to share it.
That's great.
I think two of the factors, too, that the board has considered and heard was the soil, as we were working through this process as it relates to the estimated budget and figuring out a way to ensure that that was going to be suitable for
Yeah.
construction. And the second unknown we had was the water supply. So those are both things that the board, we've talked through as a team, and fortunately for this community and our taxpayers, both of them we were able to work through with that team of engineers to find.
Yeah. I'm
deep,
glad you
good
mentioned
solutions.
that. Something I neglected to touch on. When you do the math, the portions on those GO8 forms from all the low bidders for site work comes out to over $5 million. There was a lot of site work. And I would attribute that to the soft soil situation. Fortunately, it seems the building costs did not escalate as we had feared they might. So that kind of helped offset that. So for a 7.5 acre site, over $5 million is a lot of money to spend on site work. But you're going to end up with a wonderful neighborhood school as a result of it.
So let's say tomorrow things in the universe go off the rails, everything becomes expensive, it doesn't matter, we're locked in.
Reluctant. There are extreme cases that I don't even think I need to get into, but I wouldn't concern over it at all. You're pretty locked in. It would take a major act of God to really derail that.
And I guess one other question with the $28 million maximum building cost, that includes furniture and everything else that goes inside that building, correct? Just as a refresher, or do I have that wrong?
Well, keep in mind, the contractors aren't bidding on furniture. That's something you
Right.
provide on yourself. So that $28 million maximum building construction cost did not. That was contractor money. It counts out pretty much site costs from their bid. So basically, if you were to take the roof off the building, when the contractor is done, but before you bring anything in, you turn that building upside down figuratively. If things fall out of it, that didn't count.
Okay, thank
But
you.
if it's attached to the building, that counts. Does that help kind of?
However, we do have in the total budget of $33.5 million, roughly $1.1 million allocated for furniture. So, and
Yeah.
some other items, but that's outside of the $28 million.
Yes.
Yep.
So I can't see anybody that is joined remotely. Does anybody else have any questions for Sean? Okay. Thank
Thank
you,
you
Sean,
all.
for great news, 2 meetings in a row. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just double checking, Mrs. Burkholder, we do not have public participation on agenda items.
That's correct.
Okay, just judging by the crowd. Just wanted to make sure, or lack thereof. Okay, the board did meet in executive session prior to tonight's meeting to discuss personnel matters, as well as contracts. Special education. A gambit. Looking for an approval of minutes for the meeting held on June 23rd, 2025.
Denny?
Mrs. Denny, thank you. Do we have a second?
Schneider.
Mr. Schneider, thank you. Any comments? Okay, this is a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Superintendent's report, Dr. Trickett.
Thank you, President Cucker. Shortened report tonight from me includes retirements, a resignation, change of status, and some professional hires. Again, just always want to thank our folks who are moving on outside of the organization, either to retire or to move into different roles, and thank them for their service. All of these folks have contributed greatly. Laura Grant was just participating in our workshop this afternoon, has been a school counselor for us at Spring Ridge for many, many years. Peter Ranella is on the resignation report, has also been in the Wilson School District for at least 25 years. He lives down right outside of Philadelphia, and was fortunate to get an assistant principal job very close to where he lives in the Council Rock School District. So I'm very happy for him. He's been driving here from essentially Sesame Place, if you know where that is, for a very long time, and just wish all of them well, including the other folks that are on the list, and also would like to welcome formally the 3 professional hires that we have on tonight's agenda as well. 4, excuse me.
Thank you, Dr. Trickett. Looking for a motion to approve superintendent's items 3.1 through 3.4 as presented. Dr. Kennedy, thank you. Do we have a second?
Denny?
Mrs. Denny, thank you. Any comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. McCray,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Denny,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
8 yes, 0 no.
And McCree, yes.
So, Mr. Maravich,
What's that?
Mr. McCree has
As long as
joined.
he's here.
He's here now?
She just needs to mention in the minutes that he, she just needs to mention in the minutes that he joined at this point, so she can, yes,
Okay,
she can make it 9 now, right?
Thank
My
you, Mr.
apologies.
McCree.
great, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I believe Mr. McCree had some technical difficulties prior to the meeting. It's tricky when we're kind of half and half. Okay. On to student services, 4.1, request approval of a settlement agreement in lieu of FAPE for a high school student to continue in a private placement at the Janus School for the 2025-26 and 26-27 school years, including ESY as presented. And 4.2, request approval of an addendum to the doctors, dentists, and game coverage memorandum approved at the June 23rd, 2025 board meeting as presented. Looking for a motion to approve student service items 4.1 through 4.2.
Schneider, so moved.
Mr. Schneider, thank you. Do we have a second?
Denny?
Mrs. Denny, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Denny,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. McCray,
Yes.
Mr. McCree,
Yes,
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
9 yes, 0 no.
Under operations, 5.1, request approval of a change order by About All Floors for the flooring installation at the old admin, the current building we're in, Grandview Boulevard, as part of the classroom conversion project in the amount of $8,999.05. 5.2, request approval to enter into a 1-year service agreement with HT Lyons for chiller maintenance at Southern Middle School, Cornwall Terrace, Spring Ridge, and the high school at a total of $17,950. 5.3, request approval to purchase furniture for the high school Performing Arts Center from Wenger Corporation in the amount of $168,476.68. 5.4, request approval of a change order number 6 by J.R. Reynolds, Inc. in the amount of $4,702 for the high school Performing Arts addition renovation construction project. 5.5, request approval of a change order number 27 by E.R. Stubner, Inc. in the amount of $5,370.16 for the high school Performing Arts addition and renovation construction project. 5.6, request approval of change order number 28 by E.R. Stubner, Inc. in the amount of $20,587.69 for the high school Performing Arts addition and renovation construction project. 5.7, request approval of the improvements and financial security agreement and the stormwater controls and best management practices operations and maintenance agreement with the Township of Spring, Berks County, related to the Southern Middle School additions and renovations project pending solicitor review. Looking to approve operations items 5.1 through 5.7.
So moved. Case?
Mr. Case, thank you. Do we have a second?
Denny?
Mrs. Denny, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. McCray,
Yes.
Mr. McCree,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Denny,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
9 yes, 0 no.
And also under operations, 5.9, request approval of the resolution for the following bid for the construction of Lincoln Park Elementary School. Looking for a motion for Lincoln Park. Dr. Kennedy, do we have a second?
Case?
Mr.
Second.
Case, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, other than that, this has been long awaited and we are extremely excited for this project. Roll call, please.
Well, just before we do
Mr.
roll
Case,
call,
yes.
just a general question, just for the public's sake. We're doing the Southern project, we're doing this project potentially based on the vote. Dr. Trickett, can you maybe just review or talk a little bit about potential projects 5 and 10 years out? I know we're going to have another conversation. We've had a couple of conversations about paying for all of this, but I feel we're almost at that point, budget-wise, where if we're going to take another project on 5 years from now, that may not be able to happen or without jeopardizing the future. So if you could just talk a minute about that.
Absolutely, Mr. Case. Thankfully, as everyone is aware, both of our projects, both Southern Middle School and this project tonight, came in favorably for our district, not only for district taxpayers, but also for our financial health and well-being of the organization. Both of these projects, as well as the added space at the high school, will go a long way in alleviating the concerns that the board and our team has discussed over the last 5 years. Creating classroom spaces for kids, state-of-the-art science labs, office space for our teammates that support instruction, state-of-the-art performing arts center, the ability to open a 6th elementary school and do go through a right-sizing, redistricting of our school district will also obviously alleviate pressures we're feeling in our 5 elementary schools, and will give us the opportunity really to make sure that we're able to distribute resources to meet kids' needs. At the same time, we've been working on these projects for a long time. Definitely throughout my superintendency and also throughout the time I was an assistant superintendent and I think before. So during that time, our school district and our community has continued to grow. And our enrollment trends remain pretty consistent, increasing somewhere around a little shy of 1% per year, which doesn't sound like a large number, but when you're looking at 6,500 students, it starts to really ramp up. So I think we're going to be in a really good spot from a classroom space in our elementaries, our middles, and our high school. Other projects coming down the road would be to ensure that our other capital improvements are planned for. So we meet regularly, actually monthly, where we review all capital improvements across the organization, and we actually map out beyond 5 years. And in that process, we're looking at things like asphalt or HVAC systems, roofs, even down to other items, doors, things that could be physically attached to our school systems. We have a current lighting project going on over at Green Valley and West, which Mr. Simcox provided me an update on today. As we walked in today, this whole building is under construction. So there's surely going to be things that come to us from our team. One of the things that the board will have to consider in the near future is what to do with the vacated music wing. So we have a pretty large amount of square footage down in what we refer to as the G wing in the high school, based on some very preliminary work with our teammates and some support from our architect. We have a couple different options in place that will at least create about 6 learning spaces in that environment. So something we're going to have to consider here very soon is what to do with that vacated space. Long term, beyond 5 years, I don't know. I think we're in a good position. We'll go through a financial review. We'll go through our rating with similar process that we've gone through now 2 different times. And I do trust that we will still be in a very strong position. I think this board has made good decisions over the past 5, 6, or 7 years and has established strong fund balances and a healthy capital reserve. And I think we'll be in a strong financial position for future boards and future administrative teams to make decisions that best meet the needs of kids. So I think we'll be in a really strong position.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from the board? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. McCray,
Yes.
Mr. McCree,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Denny,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
9 yes, 0 no.
Okay. Under Finance, 6.1, request approval of the resolution ratifying tax assessment appeals as attached. 6.2, request authorization of a $411,604.90 letter of credit issued to Tompkins Community Bank in favor of the Township of Spring, Berks County, for the improvements and financial security agreement related to the additions and renovations project at Southern Middle School. The letter of credit will be secured by a Tompkins Community Bank deposit account with Sean McCree, Chris Trickett, and Christine Schlossman as authorized signers. Looking for a motion to approve finance items 6.1 and 6.2.
McCree.
Thank you, Mr. McCree. Do we have a second?
Denny?
Mrs. Denny, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Denny,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mr. McCray,
Yes.
Mr. McCree,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
9 yes, 0 no.
And that takes us to the end of the meeting. Any other business from the board? Keeping it short and sweet. Okay. Then I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Schneider, so moved.
Mr. Schneider, thank you. Meeting adjourned.